I grew up in a Chinese American family, first generation, so there's a lot of culture that played into my upbringing. And performance was very big. In terms of our culture, my mom was married to the firstborn male of a family, so she's like the queen of the family, and I am the child of the queen, and my mom treated me like a little princess. And I thought, wow, so I always have to be this for people, and this is the performance I always need to have. And if I didn't, in Chinese culture, it's either shame or honor. So one of the two. And I watched a model of how hiding shame was done. I watched a lot of turmoil happening with my parents' marriage, that my dad had an affair. My mom left him to pursue a life with a married man. And all of that was happening, but nobody talked about it when everyone knew what was happening. And I watched that from, 5 years old until 18, of like, okay, this is how it's done. So this is what I'm going to take in of how to deal with my life. When I didn't get good grades, I cheated to get good grades. I did whatever I could to constantly do well and make it look good on the outside. And it was always never enough. A minus, why is it an A? It was just constantly like that. Oh, you're pretty, but she looks like this, so you should get those clothes. And it's just constantly needing to do better, live up to that expectation. So when I got to high school, just watching my mom's relationship with this married man, and he, cheated on her 4 or 5 other times. And in Chinese culture, that's acceptable because concubines and dynasty tradition, that's okay, as long as he comes home to you at the end of the night. And I'm like, well, I don't want that kind of a relationship. So when I met my first boyfriend at 15, he's very charming, in the world's eyes, very good to me, super sweet and thoughtful, and treated me really well. But I felt like having sex at such a young age, I grew up in a secular home. Faith was not a thing. So I just went with the flow. I just went with what culture was telling me. You can have sex at age 15 because everyone else is doing it. So, and all my friends were about 2 years older, my girls. So they would tell me, oh, Jess, you're so young. And I would tell them, I feel like this is too soon. I feel uncomfortable. I feel like I'm still a child. Like you're still trying to hold on to your adolescence, but, everyone's pulling you to grow up quickly. And there was no guidance. I couldn't go tell my mom because my mom, if I told her what I was doing, I know her, she probably would have locked me in my house and never let me leave. She just thought in her mind not talking about it meant I wasn't doing it. So I couldn't go to her, so I just listened to my friends. And I thought, oh, there's something wrong with me. I'm not catching up. I'm too slow. So let me continue to perform and go to the, pregnancy clinic and get birth control and do the condoms and do all these things of this is how you continue on this perfect performance of what looks good. And that's kind of when the shame began. I just felt like having sex, it felt wrong. I felt like there was a red flag going off, but no real tangible someone telling me that that's okay to feel like that. So I hid that, and I kept suppressing it and oppressing it and pushing it down. And that made me a very unhealthy human being because that shame, it manifested into anger and bitterness and hurt. And I would lash out at my family or at my brother, at my mom. My mom would be like, why are you so angry? And I couldn't identify what it was. And that led to continuing to have sex. We broke up. My mom passed away when I was 20, a third year in college. At that point, I had been still having sex, living with boyfriends, and there was so much built up, suppressed pain that I didn't know how to release it. And without any kind of faith, I fell into what the world gives you as a release, and that was drugs. And it was very easy for me to fall into that because that's just the next step. If, alcohol isn't enough, if this isn't enough, go to drugs. Okay. So I fell into entertainment. So in terms of my first job, so all my friends were in that too. So again, it was normal. And the shame just kept building, and it kept eating me up inside. So when I got pregnant, that really, I think I was so conditioned of, okay, when this kind of shame comes up, what do you do with it? You hide it. So I have to do it again. But I feel like this is a really big one to bite, but I don't know what else to do. I can't go tell anybody. I can't reach out. I don't have permission to do that. There's no one who's going to help me. And I think the enemy that we all battle in this world is very good at deceiving you and thinking you're all alone, because you're just less of a threat when you're by yourself. So he just keeps you in that box. Don't reach out. Don't ask for help. There's nobody here, so you have to figure it out. This is your problem. And I thought, the first thought when I got pregnant was, I'm taking this to the grave. Like, nobody will ever find out about this. And my girlfriend, my best friend at the time, she popped up on a G chat and she asked me, like, what's going on? And I told her I got pregnant, and she's like, that's okay. We're going to take care of this. The same kind of reaction. We're just going to go make an appointment. It'll be done by Thursday, and you'll be free by Friday. Oh, I thought, okay, yeah, freedom is an abortion. Okay, abortion will make it like this never happened, so I can still keep my performance. So I thought, okay. And I knew I was trying to rush it too. Can you make it any sooner? Can I make the appointment any sooner? And they're like, no, I'm sorry, Friday's the first availability. And I remember going to the clinic, and the first thing she said to me was, oh, you're so young. You have so much life to live. And I was like, oh, yeah, this is a bad performance at this age. She's already shaming me. She's already continuing that, encouraging that shame of this isn't right for you, so let's do this to fix it. And when I had the abortion, that level of shame was, I felt like a dark something like sit on me of like, well, you can never be free now. I felt like it got me. I felt like that was the last, like, all these things that you've done, lying, cheating, all these things, when now you've had an abortion. Like, what kind of person are you? You're horrible. You're just all this condemnation that led me into more and more despair. And I just felt like I'm the worst person in the world, and no one knows what kind of person I am, and if they did, they'd be disgusted. And so in longing for freedom and longing for someone to hear me, to be heard, to be seen, to be released from all this, that I kept perpetuating the cycle of drugs. And it was in that place of on my knees, just dying inside, while on the outside looking great and no one could hear, I was just screaming inside. Like, does anybody hear that I'm dying in here? I'm smiling, but I'm like crying inside. I need help. I need help. I need help. And I just kept doing the drugs to like not have to say it. And that's where I came to my faith. And that's when I found out that there is a faith, that loving, that would meet me in that place and say, yes, I hear you. I've heard you this entire time. And I want to free you from this. And you're not alone. You've never been alone. I've been here the entire time. And I'm going to deliver you out of this. Just a little longer. Just stay strong. And I felt that, immediate uplifting of, okay, there's something there. There's something there that gives me hope. And I don't know what that is. But I felt like I've always had that somewhere in there. And it wasn't until I got to a breaking point where I think I threw up my arms of, I don't have anything else. I tried everything else that people are telling me, and it's not working. So I need something greater. I need something so beyond this world that can rescue me out of this. And that's what started my healing, was from that place. And that's what brought me here, because I want to share that of you're never going to get it unless you have that permission of it's okay to reach out. It's okay to be honest and transparent and be vulnerable, because it gives permission for someone else to come in and bless you and be in that space with you. And that we're truly not alone. That's why there's other people. Like, people are not burdens, we have them. And we're to delight in them with each other and be a team and come together in unity. And these things are not to cause division. And I think without that concept of unity, that's where it easily gets in to divide and isolate and think you're by yourself. So Yeah.